All right, welcome to the first of I don't know how many training sessions, mini training sessions that we're going to do in this entrepreneurial training series. And in this session, I am going to talk about the importance of exactly all of this training. Why I think we need to train the way that I'm going to try to explain it to you, and just kind of set the scene, set the stage for the rest of these training calls. We will be going for a while, weeks and weeks. We're going to do several of these free, relatively short, 20 minutes or less videos. That is my intention. And I'm going to do everything I can to make it a commitment. So I want this to be a longer conversation. And it's not going to be every single day, it's going to be several days a week. At least that's how we have it planned. And we want it to be co-creative as well. So I want you to ask questions. I want you to engage. If you're watching this live and you're here as we record it, you can type in chat. I probably won't engage a whole lot with the chat just to keep it down. I don't want to engage in long conversations because when I do engage, I try to exhaust the conversation. That's going to make it harder to be done in 20 minutes. But please add your comments, your conversations, and we'll collect them and we'll add them to the overall conversation later. Who knows? Maybe we'll do like little Q&A sessions or just build it into the training. We'll do something to get your questions answered. And if you are listening to the replay or watching the replay, you can still engage wherever you're watching this. You can type it in the comment section and engage as though you were live, and we'll do everything we can to support you all. So the first topic here is like the overall. I'm Sean Smith, by the way, in case you don't know who I am. I've been in this world for a long time. I guess let me pause for a moment and just tell you who I am. If you haven't been on one of our training sessions, I've been in this coaching world for a long, long time, nearly 2 decades now. Primarily in the coaching industry, like helping coaches build better businesses and become better coaches. And we do certification programs. Been doing that for a long, 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 long time. And I've been a full-time coach for almost 20 years. So everything that I teach comes from what I call looking back wisdom. It's not theory, it's based on what I know to be true for me and what we know to be true primarily for the most amount of people in our community. So that's where we come from. I'm very passionate about all this stuff. And I'm sick and tired of some stuff too. So every once in a while, I jump on a soapbox and get a little judgmental, but it's all coming from a place of love and advocacy for all of you. That's really what I want you to understand. It's advocacy. Yes, Katie. I don't know what your last name is. Nice to meet you too. So thank you. That's a joke. I'm also uh, silly and anyway, I'll stop there. So welcome to this session, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this. My intention here is to tell you what you need to understand, tell you what you need to do, tell you how you need to train, tell you how you need to learn in order to produce what you want to produce in the world. And for the context of these training sessions, it's all about coaching. So you all are here, I assume, because you're on our email list or you're following on social media and you are a coach or you want to be a coach. And that's what this, all the context of all these conversations are going to be in. It applies to virtually everything, though, if we're talking about doing anything that requires you to grow and requires you to evolve. It's not just coaching, but the context is going to be only coaching during these sessions because that's the majority of our audience. Right now, we're going to put all these sessions in a playlist. We're going to put it on YouTube and Facebook, I think, if we can, but probably mostly YouTube since Michelle just shook her head. No, that was just a joke, just to see who was paying attention. So we're not going to put it on the FaceTube, only on the YouTube. So we'll have a playlist you can watch over and over again, do all the things to really consume and get as much out of this as you possibly can. So let's talk at a high level why you need, and I'm going to intentionally talk about needs, and I'm going to break some marketing rules here because for the most part, marketers talk about wants and not needs. And there's a problem with that because what most people want is not what they need. And what most people need is not what they want. And so, what a lot of us are getting fed is what we hope is true, what we want to be true, but not what actually is true in terms of what we need to prepare. So, I'm going to do everything I can to not sugarcoat anything and to not tell you anything that I think is obviously uh, untrue in terms of what you need to do to prepare yourself, right? If you want a certain outcome, it doesn't matter how much you want that outcome. And it doesn't matter how long you've been searching for that outcome. It doesn't matter how many programs you've created or not created, but consumed. It doesn't matter how much you deserve it. Like none of that matters. What matters is, are you prepared for it? That's it. What matters is, are you prepared to produce the outcome? Because if you are not prepared for the outcome, it doesn't matter how much you want it. You can't create it because you're not following the recipe that is required to create it. So in all of these sessions and really all of this, the end of this particular talk, we're going to talk about you preparing yourself for the results that you want to create in the world. You must be prepared for the online world, for just our social environment right now, for the coaching industry. You must be prepared. If you're not prepared, I'd rather you not try this. I mean, honestly, like, and I don't mean that. I'm not, trying to be mean or dismissive. But if you're going to go to the moon, you need to know how the moon operates because it's not like the earth. And if you go to the moon expecting it to be like the earth, you will die. And I'd rather you not go there if you don't have a suit on and if you don't understand, there's no gravity there. Like if you don't understand that environment, I'd rather you not go there. So I want to prepare you for where you want to go. And if you want to be a coach, if you want to build a coaching business, I want you to zoom out and I want you to realize that you are not just in business. You are in entrepreneurship. So I want to stack three things for you right now that I think is so, so critical for you to understand. What most people are learning are business skills in the coaching context. And again, I'm saying most people in the coaching community are learning how to build a coaching business from inside the coaching community, right? So how do you sell? How do you market? How do you turn no's into yeses? How do you overcome objections? All that kind of stuff. So you can get paid as a coach. That's what, from my vantage point, at least, the majority of the training is all about, right? The majority of the products are how do you succeed as a coach? Everybody with me so far? I need us to step back and understand that coaching is an industry inside of business. Let me scoot over a little bit. Coaching is inside of business, right? If you've seen those like circle in a circle in a circle kind of charts where like an ostrich is a bird, but not all birds are ostriches, like those kinds of things, right? Coaching is a business, but not all businesses are in coaching, right? But business is inside of a bigger circle called entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is really what I want to talk about for the rest of, so many of these entrepreneurial trainings, right? So entrepreneurship is the big giant circle. And business is a form of entrepreneurship. And then coaching is a product of a particular business. Your coaching packages, your coaching services is a product of a business. Business is a form of entrepreneurship. Does that make sense? How I'm stacking them? And so if all you learn is how to succeed in business as a coach, I'm a baseball player. So that's like if all I taught you was how to swing a bat and hit a ball, but I never taught you the rules of the game. I could even get you really, really good at hitting a baseball, but you don't know you're supposed to run to first after you hit the baseball. If you don't understand the whole game, that one isolated skill isn't going to help you very much. In that context, it's not going to help you at all, right? Or if you're not familiar with baseball or that doesn't land for you, it's like learning how to drive a car, but not understanding the rules of the road, not understanding traffic and stop signs, right? The mechanics of driving a car isn't sufficient for you to know how to actually travel. So what I'm saying is the mechanics of learning how to sell coaching packages is not sufficient in succeeding in entrepreneurship. So I'm not saying that what the majority of people are learning isn't correct. It's not sufficient. And again, I'm saying that just from years and years and years of seeing this, that a lot of people, get certifications or they learn sales tactics, but they never succeed in building a business because they never really understand entrepreneurship. And so knowing what to do from a sales perspective or marketing perspective or strategy perspective, knowing what to do is not the same as understanding how to be. Knowing what to do as a coach is not enough to succeed in your coaching business. What you need is you need to understand how to be an entrepreneur. And then with that understanding of how to be an entrepreneur, you can then make assessments. You can pivot. You can recognize certain things. You can make whatever judgments you have to make. You can make whatever adjustments. You can then you can use your entrepreneurial skills and apply them to business, and then apply those business skills and understandings to the product of coaching. Does that make sense? For those of you that are here live, just give me a thumbs up or type in chat, or even if you're watching the replay, let me know, because we have to understand the fundamental stacking of all of this stuff. If you want to succeed long-term, and if you want to have independence and agency. If you don't have independence and agency, then you just have to follow somebody else's instructions. And if you follow somebody else's instructions, you'll never be an entrepreneur. There's no such thing as follow instructions entrepreneurship. If you're following instructions, you are an employee in this context, right? And what I mean by that is you can be really good at following instructions. Somebody can tell you to do a Facebook Live and make it this long and sell this thing at this price and all that stuff. And even if it works, when you're done doing that, you need to go back to the same source and ask them, okay, what do I do now? So if you just follow instructions, you're going to have to keep getting instructions. That's what I'm saying. But if you learn entrepreneurship, you will be able to make decisions and give yourself the instructions, and then know how to assess and pivot when your set of instructions don't work for you. And in entrepreneurship, your set of instructions are almost never going to work for you. They're almost never going to work the way you hope they work, because that's just the way entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is really about resilience and getting back up and trying it all over again, right? So I want you to learn how to be an entrepreneur so that you have long-term agency. And if you are committed to that, then you have to train like it. You have to prepare your mind, you have to prepare your body, and you have to prepare your energy for entrepreneurship. Not just how to succeed as a coach, but how to become an entrepreneur and then succeed as a coach, right? And if we don't flip the fundamentals here, if we don't flip the focus to the fundamental principles of entrepreneurship, then the best you can do is make some short-term success. And again, I'm not trying to talk down, I'm not trying to throw people under the bus or throw shade at people or whatever, but really what I'm trying to highlight is the difference between fads and fundamentals. Fundamentals you can bet on. Fundamentals can last a long time. Fads cannot. And what so many people are doing in the coaching world is just trying to succeed with fads, because they're just short-term, mechanical skills, right? And again, even if it works, that's fine, but it just won't last that long. So I think your most important training will be the training that builds you as a person, because the most important piece of entrepreneurship is the entrepreneur. You are your best asset. You are your most valuable source. So your training needs to build you as a person. If it's not building you as a person, it cannot have long lasting success. It can only have just short term success on, as soon as the information that you learned is over with, that's about as far as the information is going to take you, right? So if you're not in spaces, classes, in trainings that are building you as a person, then at some point in time, you're going to hit your ceiling. And I don't want you to have a ceiling in this. I want you to literally like be limitless when it comes to your entrepreneurship and what you can do to actualize yourself. Because the people out there, the vendors, the gurus out there, the experts, the messengers, whatever you want to call them, they're not any better than you. They don't have secrets that you don't have access to. They're selling you things, but your training needs to activate you. Like you need to train so that you authentically become the most valuable piece of the whole puzzle. And I just think if you really break it down, most information is going to come from a place of you as the person not being the most important ingredient. The information is the most important ingredient. And if you just follow somebody else's recipe, then you can succeed too. And what I want you to know, I believe this with every ounce of my being. If the recipe exists before you showed up, then it's not your recipe because it was created before it had your ingredient inside of it. And so if there's anything that you're doing that is just removing an ingredient and putting you inside of that ingredient, it has limited capacity for it to build you authentically and then build a business around you authentically. And that distinction, I think, is one of the most critical ones to fully understand. I think we have this addiction to just, adding more things to us and changing the old information out with the new information. And most of us are just not focusing on what the most important ingredient is, which is actually you, right? And as soon as you become the essence of the entrepreneur and you reclaim your identity as an entrepreneur, then you can create from that foundational entrepreneur place. But if you don't have that entrepreneurial identity and you don't have the entrepreneurial creation, then the best that you can do is just follow somebody else's rules. And that's not what I want for you. I want to help you create your authentic game plan around you so that when you do build a business, you can be in your business. That's one of the reasons why people build successful businesses financially, but they don't actually have fulfillment because they authentically were never in the business that was built. And that's why it's not felt. So what I have learned, and I've gone up and down and, left and right and in and out in this industry, what I've learned through all these years, because there's been times when I felt like I don't even like my business. Right. And there's been other times when I just feel so inspired, like this is who I am. This is me. And almost everybody that really struggles in business, it's because it's not just an authentic recipe that they've created inside the foundation itself. Like it has to be built into the cement, right? Your authenticity needs to be built into the cement because you do have a unique outlook on the world and you do have a unique perspective. And if you have a unique perspective that's valuable, we can build a business around it. But we need to get the foundational entrepreneurial pieces and concepts in place first. So I'm going to stop there. We are going to do a bunch of these trainings, as I said. I hope you can value the little bite size, bits of information. I don't want you to think about just each one of these. Like I need everything to be exhausted inside of these 20-minute sessions, because obviously that's not going to work. But I want you to think about the bigness of all the trainings that we're going to do and all the conversations that we can have. And so I want all of you to obviously come back and listen to the replays and all that sort of stuff. And for now, if any of you are interested, Sarah just put in a link, a bit.ly link. It's called bit.ly/Coach Sean Smith e-training. If you are, if you want to kind of join us on the interest list of potentially entrepreneur school, which is something that we'll talk about as these trainees go on and on next year, we're going to take a relatively small group of people and go real deep dive into the entrepreneurship, and we'll do exercises and like really get our hands dirty in the lab, um, starting in January of 2025. So if that's something you might be interested in, you can go to that link that's in the Zoom chat. If you're on here live, we'll post it on the comment section or in the description, wherever we do put this video. And if you can't figure out where to go, then just email us, Sean@coachseansmith.com, and just let us know that you're interested, and we'll make sure that we take care of you. So that's it. This one went a little bit long because I added a little bit at the beginning, a little bit at the end, kind of setting the stage and all this stuff. But join us for these bite-size e-trainings. I hope there was something valuable for you. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, you can type them in chat, whether you're watching the replay or you're watching live, and we'll continue to co-create with you guys. What I'm excited about is this is the first step. What I'm excited about is, I don't know, a dozen, 2 dozen, however many of these videos we do and post and all that stuff, so that we can start a big conversation, because what all of you have the potential for is really, really big impact. And you'll never be able to make really, really big impact with shallow training. So let's go deep so you can do something incredible with your skills and your life and your purpose. With that, everyone, have a wonderful rest of the day, and I hope to see you on the next bite-sized training soon. Take care.